Hey guys, first Guardsman here, and I'll be talking about Weekly Hard Stratagem number 51 in Space Marine 2 patch 14. Now, this week's hard strat is a little obnoxious. We have the Battlefield Conditions Personal Quarry. Each player is assigned an enemy that only they can kill. A Measured Mercy, you are granted 5 relics at the start, and allies cannot be revived for incapacitation, and you are defeated if any player dies. Split up, when you maintain close proximity to team members, armor and contested health restoration are completely disabled, and Suspicious Behavior, friendly fire damage from firearms and explosives is enabled. So friendly fire, split up, personal quarry, all of these are kind of obnoxious, and the modifier Measured Mercy makes it so if any teammate dies, you will just automatically lose the mission. So modifiers like that kind of just auto end your game, those do kind of suck, and the easiest way to deal with this operation is honestly just playing it solo, because if you do solo this one with bots, you are automatically turning off 2 Battlefield Conditions, because the Measured Mercy modifier, the bots don't do this at all. Like, they do not use relics, and like if they die, it does not actually end your game. And also personal quarry, the bots do not get assigned an enemy that only they can kill, so you're skipping over to Battlefield Conditions that way. Though I will say, I know a lot of you guys don't like to play solo on these missions, even with like an overpowered sniper build like I did, and I will give you options for that as well. Having friendly fire active from Suspicious Behavior does suck, but there are ways to circumvent that partially by using gunstrike heavy builds like Assault and the Bulwark class. But as far as the overall options for this mission are concerned, most of this mission is kind of out of your hands if your teammates are just like goofing off, because if your teammates die, if they don't know what they're doing, if they are not reading the modifiers, they might shoot you in the back, they might not pay attention to split up, and Measured Mercy will mean if they don't do those things, you'll just lose the mission outright. So honestly, solo, just the easiest way to do this one, even if that kind of sucks, but hey, that's the modifier we got this week. And with all that being said, I am going to go into some build setups for this weekly, starting off with the Sniper. The best build for him, in my opinion, is the automatic bolt carbine, just like the Vanguard class, because this thing has incredible ammo economy and incredible damage, and all you have to do is just build for your purification on your cloak to get back your contested health, and also just build for pure damage to have an easier time in the game and stuff like block break. Now, we're not really building for melee damage at all in this build, because you really do not need that, and the bolt carbine, as far as the perk tree setups for this go, I would just say Headhunter first into the perk here Rapid Health, then I pick up the perk here Home Precision for a 50% reduction maximum weapon spread, just like the Vanguard, because the 2 accuracy here just means that you want to have this like laser beam hip fire. And the next perk is Divine Might for 10% damage buff, Headhunter and Headhunter again for a 20% headshot damage increase. Then we go down here for the perk Extended Magazine, into the perk Divine Might, increased capacity, magazine restoration, adamantine grip, and Divine Might for even more damage. You really do not need the armor restoration up here at all. It doesn't even matter if you're fighting Chaos or Tyranids. I mean, this weapon will just mince Rubric Marines, Chaos Spawn. Even the new Chaos Terminator Sorcerer still crumbles before the Sniper's Might, and this guy is just kind of nuts with the Bolt Carbine. Now, for the secondary, I do take the Heroic Bolt Pistol, because this thing is just really strong right now, and more importantly, the Heroic perk effect, Burst Fire. You can fire shots within 3-round burst. This will allow you to trigger the perk over here, Pattern of Excellence, far easier, because this says performing 3 consecutive headshots restores equipment charge by 1 with a cooldown of 30 seconds, and every shot from that burst fire will count as an individual shot for this perk, so really easy to trigger this perk effect. Now, if you want to take a Heroic Instigator, you could do that as well, but like, it really does not matter. As long as you build for a bolt weapon, you will be fine on this build. Now, for the melee weapon, I do take the Argent Edge, because the Argent Edge is the best defensive tool in the game, and on this build, we really do not need melee damage, so there's no reason to not take it. The Heroic perk effect is Scathing Retort, or their post window is shorter, but each perfect parry damages and staggers the enemy. So what this weapon does is it turns your parry window from a fencing weapon to a block weapon, which just means you have half the active frames, but it's still very strong and very easy to use, because both the fencing versions here and the block weapon versions, they all have 0 frame startups on their parry, which means the moment you press your button for a parry, you have an active parry window, which is really all you need. Now, for the perk tree on this, it really does not matter too much. Really, most of this is a parry stick, so things like Perpetual Strength, Kinetic Energy, you can really build it however you want. I just go for Shadow Stab, because I just prefer that, but it doesn't matter too much. Like, your perk selection is mainly there for just like some random buffs on this one, because this is the only perk you actually need, because getting free gun strikes on any parry on things like a Terminator, Ravener, and stuff like that is incredible. So that's really all you need on this one. Now for the perk tree, the first perk I take here is Block Break. Shots will penetrate enemy block stances, dealing 50% of the usual damage. Now we really don't need melee damage on this build at all, so melee mastery is not necessary, and the perk here Medicae Adept is not that strong anyways. So being able to shoot through Tyranid block stances on our Bolt Carbine is very nice for us, and the next perk I take here is Vantage Point. Remaining stationary for 2 seconds increases your ranged weapons damage by 20%. So on the sniper class, the base cooldown of your camo cloak as of like patch 12.2 plus is 90 seconds, and that means all you have to do is camo cloak, shoot your bolt carbine, your cloak immediately goes into cooldown, which will trigger perk effects here like lingering concealment, which says after performing an attack that breaks camo cloak, you remain hidden for 2 seconds, and also triggers perk effects here like Emperor's Grace for 2 seconds that give you invulnerability, and also allows you to sit still. You trigger perk effects like Vantage Point, and by the time this is all done and that 2 seconds is up, you are either like right at your cloak cooldown or your cloak is already back. So it's kind of absurd how strong the sniper class is right now, because really all you have to do is just cloak, shoot your gun, wait, and then cloak again, and just repeat that with purification, and you will pretty much never die in an operation or hard strat. Next perk here is Dexterous Hands. Bolt carbines reload 20% faster and the weapon spread recoil reduced by 15%. And the next perk is Squad Renewal. A headshot kill restores ability charge by 10% for any team member. Now, you don't have to take this one. You actually can like manage your cloak that you don't actually need to take this. You take marksmanship or the perk here, precision targeting instead. That being said, Squad Renewal is just way better, in my opinion. Like, I mean, if the only crux of your build is getting back your ability charge, you probably want the perk that lets you do that over and over, because a 10% recharge here, that will just fill out the gap if you do mess up your camo cloak management and just get your HP back on purification. So I think this is the best option. Next perk here is definitely the best option with purification. Manually activating camo cloak removes negative stats effects, restores all contested health. This perk is kind of nuts. Okay, purification is like a squid inking, where all you do is you hit your cloak. You have now recovered all of your CHP. You've now recovered every single option for like a SAS effect. Your SAS effects are just gone. You have also triggered perk effects over here like the Emperor's Grace for 2 seconds of invulnerability. So all your HP's back and you're invulnerable for 2 seconds. It's basically impossible to die as long as you can cloak. Next perk here is a Targeted Shot. The first range attack that breaks camo cloak deals 75% more damage. Now, this one may not tell you this in the game, but it will last for the first 5 shots of your bolt carbine. There's a little bit of a lingering effect attached to this one. It doesn't tell you that in the game for whatever reason, but that is the case, so it's still worth taking. Next perk here is a Lingering Concealment. After performing an attack that breaks camo cloak, you remain hidden for 2 seconds. You just take this perk, because this is by far the best perk since they buffed camo cloak, and it's no different now. Next perk here is Power of Excellence, because 30-second Melta Bombs and really any other equipment in the game are OP. Though if you really want to take like Evasion or I guess like Emergency Override, you could. You really do not need these perks, and the Melta Bombs and like really any other equipment spams make your games go way faster, but if you want to take them, you can. For the prestige perk options, Emperor's Grace is just a must-have in my opinion. When camo cloak activates, you become invulnerable to damage for 2 seconds. Invulnerability in Space Marine 2 makes you invulnerable to everything, damage, knockback, it does not matter. This perk is incredible and will trigger all the time. Next perk here is also mandatory in my opinion, Versatile Precision. Performing a kill with your secondary weapon restores 15% of your primary weapon's ammo. Cooldown is 15 seconds. This just gives you infinite ammo as long as you have a secondary option, which is us. So Bolt Carbine, already very susceptible, not susceptible, but already very high synergy with percentage restores, because your base ammo capacity is so damn high. And in game, because we have increased capacity, your ammo capacity will be like 400. So really strong option for him. And this perk will give you a ton back. Final perk options here are Conviction, because a 25% health damage reduction for 10 seconds is nuts, or excuse me, 15 seconds on this one. And the final perk is Exacting Focus for a 20% range damage buff for 10 seconds on a gun strike, because you do have the Argent Edge, which means gun strikes will happen all the damn time. I'm not exaggerating when I say, guys, that this build is just kind of ridiculous. I mean, you just take this into a hard strat by yourself. I took this into Supremacy of the Strong twice the foe before and just bodied them until like my game crashed. It's kind of nuts how strong the sniper can be in hard strats and operations, and really the only thing holding you back is like your willingness to sit there and camo cloak manage the entire time and your ability to do that. But it's really not hard at all, and hopefully this gave you an idea of how to set this guy up. Hey guys, first regards right here, I'm going to be talking about a full tank heavy plasma incinerator build for the heavy class in Space Marine 2. Now, last month, I made a heroic heavy bolter build using all the tank perks, and today we're doing that for the heavy plasma because this gun also slaps the heroic plasma and the heroic heavy bolter. These are the two best options on this class overall, in my opinion, and the only downside of the heroic plasma is that this gun's ammo economy kind of sucks, and there are literally dead perks in this perk tree if you take stuff up here like charge cooling, supercharged shot, or heavy velocity, because this weapon has no charge shots whatsoever, and the perk effect is called Plasma Hail, and heavy stance get an increase in fire rate instead of charged shots. So that does kind of suck, but building full ammo on the bottom, this is what I prefer. If you really want to go up here instead for heavy immunity, you can. This one will give you no knockback in your heavy stance against like light enemy attacks, which is super useful in this game, but going full ammo, I do just prefer this. So the first perk I take is Fast Venting. Moving here to the perk contingency plan, then I pick up Plasma Collection and Efficient Charge. Then we grab the perk here, Adamant Restoration, because this one on a tank build especially is super powerful, mainly because being below 30% HP with Fortitude, Conviction down here, and the perk up here, Adamant Will, that will make you so tanky on its own that dropping to those lower HP thresholds is really not a problem. So you definitely use this off cooldown. Next perk here is Heavy Fire into the perk Weapon Strike, and the final perks are Brutal Rampage for a free damage buff, and Plasma Collection, and of course Fast Venting. I just threw a perk up here because we just had to, and that's pretty much all there is for the heavy plasma build. Now, if you want to use a normal rate of fire one, you can build it this way. This is really like the only good setup for this weapon, in my opinion, for like the standard relic tier ones, because all these perks here just fit perfectly into this overall weapon archetype. You get heavy immunity, you get more damage on your charge shots, and you also get faster charge rates, which this one really wants. So if you're going for the normal relic tier, I'd set it up this way. If you're going for the heroic one, I'd set up the way I showed before. Now for the secondary here, we do take the heroic plasma pistol. This gun just does a truckload of damage, and the way I set this one up is as follows: with Plasma Collection into the perk here, Rapid Cooling, and then I grab Plasma Collection again, Blast Radius into the perk Perpetual Velocity, down here into Plasma Collection, Blast Radius, Retaliation, and Divine Might, and that's pretty much all there is for this one. Now for the main perk tree, like most tank builds, we start off with Restoration and Fortitude because the health increase at 30% on top of Conviction and Adamant Will. This will make you like as tanky as a Bulwark, if not tankier than some of his builds. Like you can straight up reach higher damage reduction than like a baseline Bulwark if he decides to just take Steel Within, because you're actually kind of a stupidly tanky class on the heavy, which is pretty funny. Second tankiest class overall in the game, but really on this one, we're pretty much the tankiest for most intents and purposes. Next perk here is Overwhelming Power. When Iron Halo is active, all team members within 10 meters deal 10% more range damage. This one's really up to you. You could pick up Overwhelming Power or Versatility. This one's better for your secondary damage. This one just gives you a damage buff overall, and Overwhelming Power will trigger simultaneously with Brute Force because for whatever reason, Iron Halo counts as in cooldown while it is active, and because of that, you just get a free buff off this perk. Next perk is also up to you with Encompassing Aegis or Additional Supplies. Bonds of Brotherhood is definitely the weakest option here. Additional Supplies can give you quite a bit of extra ammo for your primary, which the heavy definitely likes on the heavy plasma, but Encompassing Aegis is just the go-to because we're going for full survivability on this build, and full tank takes 25% range damage reduction. Next perk here is Adamant Will. After Iron Halo deactivates, you will take 20% less health damage for 10 seconds. The best synergy for this perk is Field Adjustment. Now, Power Regulator is better on builds that use consecutive execution, but on Adamant Will, you want as many triggers of Iron Halo as possible, and because of that, you want as fast a recharge as possible. So Field Adjustment is just the way to go, and if you properly time this, you can have the best synergy for this one is, of course, Field Adjustment. Iron Halo recharges 20% faster, but its durability is reduced by 25%. Now, Power Regulator is the overall most valuable perk on the heavy class here on most builds like consecutive execution, but on this one, you want as many triggers of Iron Halo as possible, and because of that, Field Adjustment is just like the de facto option here. So having this 20% health damage reduction, you can pretty much have this up 24/7 if you time it properly on the Field adjustment, so a really great synergy there. And the final perk here in the gear tree is of course Brute Force. When Iron Halo's in cooldown, range damage increases by 15% because this is just the best perk effect because the free range damage buff for like pretty much nothing. Next perk here is Offensive Capability. When active, Iron Halo deals damage over time to all enemies within 5 meters. And the final perks here are Reverberating Impact, Auxiliary Reload for ammo economy, because you definitely want this perk on the Heavy Plasma. I mean, I picked this one up on every heavy build ever, pretty much. But on Heavy Plasma, I mean, you're going to run out if you don't take this, so definitely grab this one. Next perk here is also God tier, Conviction. When your armor is fully depleted, you will take 25% less health damage for 10 seconds. This is a cracked perk, a 25% health damage reduction on top of a 20% health damage reduction, on top of encompassing Aegis and Fortitude. You are just ridiculously tanky here, so Conviction being in the Prestige perk tree, this is just one of the freest options in the entire game for damage reduction, especially on a class that's tanky. Final perk here is Indomitable Spirit, because no knockback and gun strikes is just super nice to have. And the only thing I would ever swap out is like maybe Reverberating Impact for exponential force, and Duelist does not work currently on the balance window, so I would definitely skip over this. And that's pretty much all there is for this build, guys. I mean, the Heavy Plasma is still a top tier weapon. I think this one really only struggles with ammo economy, and every time I go back to it, I'm like, oh, I guess we just one shot guys, huh? But you know, it's a pretty fun option, and if you don't want to build it this way, you can definitely take whatever else you want to use for a primary weapon. This is a pretty interchangeable build for most setups on the Heavy, but hopefully this guide helped you. And guys, first regards from here, I'll be talking about the most cracked build setup for the Bulwark class in Space Marine 2 to dominate hard strats and operations. And now, this build will be using the Block Power Fist because the Block Power Fist is just absolutely nuts on this class, but other good options include the Block Power Sword, Block Power Axe, and of course the White Scars Chain Sword. Now, the reason block weapons are so good on the Bulwark is that they have a 0 frame startup, which means the moment you press your parry key in this game, you will immediately have an active parry window. And for perk effects like Intimidating Aura that give you massive damage on a perfect parry or a perfect block, having a 0 frame startup is incredibly valuable, and that kind of just puts them as like the de facto best option. And unlike the Assault class, you cannot animation cancel out of the startup of a balanced parry window, so 0 frame startup for fencing and block, that's just the best for him, and block is just the best damage, so it's kind of the go-to. Now, for the perk tree here, we do just take Perpetual Strength first into the perk here, Fast Preparation, or excuse me, Heavy Preparation. This just makes your charge attacks come out significantly faster, and when it comes to the Power Fist, all you do on this weapon is just charge attack over and over. Your charge attacks have immense hyper armor where it's very difficult to actually get staggered out of them, and it's just one of the strongest options on this weapon in general, so definitely take this. Next perk here is Perpetual Strength, up here into Perpetual Strength again. Then I pick up the perk here, Focus Intention, because this damage reduction here is absolutely incredible, because usually with the Power Fist, the way this weapon actually works is you will trade into an enemy and just charge up your attack while you were getting shot, and you'll immediately use your thrust jab and get the execute and get your HP back. So having survivability during that charge up is incredible. Next perk here is Tide of Battle, which actually ups the power wave forward distance from 10 to 20 meters, which makes this weapon basically a ranged option. And the final perks here are Strength of Will, Falling Blow, the perk here Combo, and Majora's Slayer, and that is all there is for the Power Fist. Now, when it comes to the secondary option, you have a couple, options you can really take here. So number one, if you are fighting Tyranids, I would just take the new Heroic Bolt Pistol that got buffed. This one is very strong at the moment. The ammo economy here is great. The accuracy is phenomenal, and the damage here is also substantial on top of the gunstrike options. So really good weapon overall. I find this one performs the best against the Tyranids because the Zoanthropes kind of just get shit on thanks to perks down here like Elite Hunter. They give you a 50% headshot damage boost after melee killing a Majora's enemy, and you can also use your melee execute to trigger this, so even better than it sounds initially. Now, the rest of the perk tree here is Perpetual Precision over here into the perk Headhunter. Then I pick up a Gunstrike Reload, Increased Capacity, Headhunter again, Elite Hunter for the reasons I previously mentioned, into the perk Headhunter, Extended Magazine, and Divine Might. Now, the secondary I would take against the Chaos faction is the Plasma Pistol. It doesn't really matter which one you actually want here. You could take the magazine capacity version, firepower or rate of fire, I would probably stay away from the heroic because the charge up time here is just way too long for like a only secondary class, but with Invigorating Icon you'd probably be okay. But as far as the best option is concerned, I do think that is the rate of fire still, because the contested health recovery here is top tier, the DPS is amazing, and being able to stagger and get all of your CHP back on a single shot, that is incredible against Chaos, because Chaos has guys like minigun Terminators that will just really need to be staggered at times, even with your shield in the Bulwark class, since their minigun volleys are very dangerous. Now, one more benefit of the Plasma Pistol against Chaos versus Tyranids is that unlike Tyranids, you don't really need a headshot multiplier on your gun to actually kill things like Zoanthropes and Neurothropes, so you're kind of getting the full benefit of the Plasma Pistol here with no real downside. Now, for the perk tree, I do take Intimidating Aura first. A perfect time parry deals AoE damage with a 5-meter radius. Cooldown is 5 seconds. This is just the best perk on Bulwark in this column. If you want an easier time, you can take Conviction, because stacking up full damage reduction with Invigorating Icon and all of these perks here is going to be kind of cracked. It is very hard to die, but this perk just makes your life feel way easier, because parrying one enemy and getting like full damage on them is incredible. Intimidating Aura, definitely pick this up. Next perk here is Scramble Targeting. If you're surrounded by 5 or more enemies, it will take 25% less damage from range attacks. This just makes you even tankier, and this stacked of Steel with the next for a 30% health damage reduction while below 50% HP is also incredible, especially with all of your increased HP as a starting perk. So this class, stupidly tanky with this setup, definitely pick up these perks. Next perk here is Focus Restoration. Every 30 seconds, all team members automatically restore 1 armor segment. This perk is cracked. It gives you so much free armor to your team, and classes like Tactical and Tech Marine that are already pretty squishy, getting free armor to damage cap melee attacks and even reduce range attack damage is just so strong for them. It's also buffing you up as well, so a great team perk, great option for solo play. It doesn't really matter what you're doing for the content in the game. This perk is top tier. Next perk here is Purity of Purpose. The banner deals damage over time to enemies in its area of effect. This just puts a shock nade around your banner. This will wipe out Minoris. It deals significant damage to Majoris, Extremis, and even bosses. The amount of value this perk puts out is tremendously higher than things like Rapid Regeneration and Focus Strength, so definitely grab this. And the next perk here is kind of your choice. I took Invigorating Icon on this build because getting full HP for your entire team, I mean, the value proposition of this perk is absolutely absurd. You can get more stims in your game just from this perk effectively than the entire stim economy of a single map. It is absurdly powerful, and that's why they kind of nerfed it to have a 50% slower recharge, though alternatively you could pick up Glory Shield or even the perk up here, Concussive Force. They're all very strong, and Glory Shield may be a bit weaker. It's like a value perk compared to Invigorating Icon, but you can stack this with things like Rejuvenating Effect or Inspiration if you want to have like more damage for your full team. That is up to you though. Next perk here I took is Merciless Resolve. After a Shield Bash, Shield Rush, or Thunderhammer Pommel Smash, melee damage increases by 15%, and you know these heavy hits and cannot be knocked back for 10 seconds. This just gives you no knockback for free, basically, and a free damage buff for yourself. And now, if you want to give your teammates buffs, you can take Inspiration, and if you want to get your teammates up faster, you can, of course, take Rejuvenating Effect. But this perk here is still very strong, even though the Power Fist does have Hyper Armor, so no knockback is a little less valuable on him than other classes. But even with that being said, no knockback is still a top-tier effect. Really hard to go wrong with this one. Next perk here is Defensive Mastery. A perfect time parry or block instantly incapacitates a Majoris or Extremis level enemy. The cooldown is 90 seconds. A 90-second cooldown on one-shotting Extremis in this game is incredible. This almost always pops up when you want it at some point in a boss fight, and this has gotten me out of so many sticky situations in this game. A super underrated perk, incredible value. Definitely grab this. Now, for the prestige perk options, if you are not taking Invigorating Icon, you could probably take Resilience for more stim HP. This does up the overall stim economy of the game for you and just makes them more valuable as pickups, which is pretty nice. Though on this build, I am taking Auxiliary Reload, Overcharge, Powerful Shot, and Masterful Defense, but really all of these perks here are quite strong. Standard Bearer is pretty good for having invulnerability on your banner placement, especially with things like a Concussive Force or Glorious Shield build, mainly because invulnerability in Space Marine 2 will make you immune to damage and no knockback, which means you'll have like full free range to charge up your charge attacks on a Power Fist or a Thunderhammer. Now, Masterful Defense is a god tier perk because getting 1% CDR back for every blocked range attack against Chaos especially, it's just going to give you back full banners. Super high value perk. You pretty much always pick this up. Now, the final perks you can take here are, of course, Auxiliary Reload or Powerful Shot. I think Powerful Shot is definitely worth taking. Overcharge is always worth taking because charge attack damage on a Power Fist especially is going to allow you to one-shot guys, and this just helps out your ammo economy. The only one I would really skip over is Emboldened Stand, but that is pretty much all I have to say in this one, guys. The Power Fist has been a god tier weapon for like over a year now. A lot of people don't realize this weapon actually functions like a ranged option, where all you have to do is just charge up your charge attack and just punch guys from a mile away. The range on this weapon is disgusting, and the Bulwark is an absolute juggernaut. So hopefully this build guide helped you. If you like content like this, subscribe for more. If you want to catch me live to ask me questions about the game or just coming out, you can find me here on YouTube or on Twitch with a link in the video description, alongside a link to my community Discord. Now we're using the sniper for this because this class is just genuinely on crack since patch 12. Oh, nice. And I would recommend soloing this off because you're just going to save yourself a great bit of pain by not dealing with like random ass players on your team dying and ending your mission for you. And also shooting you in the back if they don't die on their own.
Not so appropriate no more. They shall not. Readying next volley. Familiar line cloak ready. Synaptic servant slaughtered. Stealth ready. It dug its own grave. They shall not. Active camouflage charge.
Well, the boss just despawned Brass upstairs out of the room. Yeah, that was lame. You can't fight the boss, so it deserves the accolades. What's the best heroic to buy for sniper? Best heroic combi flamer, and then heroic instigator. One of those two. Both sniper's fun. It's also like probably his worst heroic actually right now. Well, actually, the number one heroic I buy in that class is the Archmage. But we're talking guns.
Another familiar line cloak ready. Deploying shrapnel grenade.
Now I know I said we had to fight the boss, but he wandered away from us. He didn't want the smoke.
Unseen, I stole my target. Stealth ready. Fester and rot. See not abomination. Familiar line cloak ready. Reloading. Titan, only twitching Xenos carapaces remain.
Our coordination is off.
Oh?
Inefficient.
How so?
Your fire would be most effective after my bombardments.
If you seek someone to pick up after you, I suggest you call for a chapter, sir. Camouflage charged.
My least favorite part about disruption is the frame rate.
Our tactical superiority will best their numbers.
This is Commander Otel. Surrounded and outmanned. We are in urgent need of your assistance.
That is why we are here, Commander.
back is welcome news. The cathedral gates must be shut if we're to hold on to this sector. Defend the generator units until we have enough power to close the gates. They cannot be allowed to fail.
Defense of the generators will be our sole aim. Inserting fresh magazine.
The Tyranids are swarming the generators near the gates.
Maybe an unnecessary, maybe an excessive amount. But
Power reservoir at 25% capacity.
Emilio line cloak ready.
Halfway there, my lords. Enemy forces sighted in Zeta sector.
these little skulls on these guys, so those are the ones that only you can kill. Now, the bots will not actually count towards that at all, so you'll never have to deal with the awkwardness that you would with the other players. So honestly, this one pretty peak to solo, and the sniper is really easy to solo with. Like, the purification build here, as long as you just shoot your gun immediately after cloaking, you will be fine.
Emilio line cloak ready.
That generator can't take much more punishment. 3/4 of required energy generated.
It's a Dota 2.
I am a
So much.
and stealth ready. Take all you can carry.
Generators are being attacked from the air.
Active camouflage charged. Emilio line engaged.
Generators are being attacked from the air.
Emilio line cloak ready. They shall not see. Changing magazine.
Right, there we go.
Emilio line cloak activated.
I can say this weekly's the most entertaining though. These last few weeklies have been pretty shit.
Readying next volley.
Almost there, my lords. Just a few more megajoules needed.
Swapping power back.
Full reserve. We have enough power to shut the gates.
Reloading. Tyrannies have no hybrid tactics.
Or using the flame SMG? No, this is a normal one. You can use the flame one if you want, but more people have this one. Combi Flamer is probably the best bulk car fight in the game right now, in my opinion. It's definitely up there.
I had
That's the
tales of
equivalent to
the
this
prowess
one.
of the Ultramarines. I never expected to see it with my own eyes.
Major Kiva has found a worthy successor in you, Commander Otel.
Viridian, I have deployed a Redemptor Dreadnought in your vicinity. Let the infantry defend the stronghold. Rendezvous with the Dreadnought and drive the Thousand Suns out of the Ecclesiarchy Cathedral. This is the best chance we can give the Cadians to control this sector.
Also, this game's soundtrack is underrated as fuck. I don't think that's true. I think this game had a trash soundtrack compared to, like, Dark Tide. The soundtrack has like no notable sound, music in it. Like the only notable song in this whole game is I think is the main theme. Even then, it's pretty generic. I hope the next game like outsources to a proper orchestra. So something that Baldur's Gate 3 did. That's also what they did with Dark Tide and Just for Kids.
Assuredly a warp rift. It will open soon.
Maybe you don't ADS your gun most of the time because your hipfire is more accurate on this gun than your ADS is. It's pretty similar at the very least. Because if you take home precision, your gun's a laser beam. The combi flamer is the best, and why aren't you using it? Yeah, I just answered that question, I'm pretty sure. I said I think more people have this one.
Our honored brother is under attack. Aid him. Active camouflage charge. Unseen I stalk my target.
I mean, Nick Gordon for Space Marine 3, yeah. Yeah, Space Marine 3 soundtrack is quite lacking. I talk, like, listen to Helldivers 2, listen to Dark Tide, even listen to Payday 2. All of them have, like, absolute banger soundtracks, and then, like, this thing just flops. Probably the weakest part of the whole game, in my opinion. Because the game looks amazing, but the soundtrack's just not there.
New objective. Rendezvous at next junction.
Also, Road Trader's soundtrack. That's amazing too. Dark Heresy's amazing. Wow, I guess I'm just a soundtrack hater for this game, but like it's not my fault. It's not my fault that like Peak is across the street, you know what I mean?
Stealth ready.
Only selling used gutters. Thank you for the 200 bit.
Active camouflage charge. Readying next. Chameleon line engaged. Full of heretic corpses is our reward. Savor it. Chameleon line cloak activated. The Imperial active camouflage charged. Rearming. Chameleon line engaged. Chameleon line cloak ready. Give them no ground.
Is that the only bulk carbine better accuracy with hipfire? No. You just take home precision. You can look at any of my bulk carbine build guides. I should answer any question like that. And all my other build guides. They will all be updated the next patch, as always. With many, many more. Though all the patch 13 build guides are currently working, because like nothing got changed from the weapons in this game. If anything, they're just better now.
It made the mistake of being in my sights. Changing magazine. Throwing shot grenade. Unseen I stop my target. Active camouflage charged. Apply additional pressure. They shall not. Reloading. Chameleon line cloak ready. Friendly fire. I am a maximum. Inserting fresh magazine. toward us. Emilio line. We have isolated our foe from its allies. Tyranid high priest sighted. Reloading.
Also, when your bots die in this, they don't actually use up any of these like relics at all. So you actually can't lose the game from them, which is nice.
The cultists seek our doom. Objective on the other side. No hindrance remains.
These corrupted wretches cannot withstand my might. Our angles of attack are converging. Prepare for close quarters battle.
Synaptic servants slaughtered. Shock grenade deployed.
That can be such a clusterfuck sometimes.
Inserting
Yeah, it
fresh
is.
magazine. Unseen I stalk my target. Emilio line cloak ready. Their numbers are no match for ours.
This Raven Guard cape is glowing. Yeah, it's been using Neutrogena. Pretty glowing these days.
Changing magazine. We cannot go this way.
The cape care is really at an all-time high.
Power is the cure to many conditions.
Nice.
Take
That's
all
what
you
I said.
can carry.
Right.
Readying next volley. Our orders are clear. Advance. Our way is clear.
Sorcery prohibits my progress. I will take care of the green barrier. Provide covering fire for Redemptor Dreadnought breakthrough.
Guard our brother from all incoming attacks.
I've got a bomb for this. I gotta say, after the first 5 times playing with the playing Disruption, Disruption's cool. It feels more like a campaign mission. It's not very fun on replays.
Heretical trickery cannot withstand righteous ceremonies.
The coolest part's obviously the health break. That's definitely the best part. No. Do you think they're ever gonna nerf a rework sniper? Probably not. I mean, if anything, they might move his cooldown as Camo Cloak back to 120 seconds, but I doubt it. He's not. He's like, you know, this class is not OP in a way that takes away from your teammates. I feel. He just doesn't die. Which like means they're still playing the game. It's not like he's going around one-shotting literally everything in the map. He can do that, but it's not because of this broken build setup.
The Dreadnought needs to focus. Eliminate all targets.
arrogance. I am breaking through.
Enemies cleared.
Alright, let me in, let me in.
Let nothing stand in my way. For Ultra. Barrier down. Advance to the cathedral.
Outbreak sighted.
Do not advance into the fire. Its beautiful breath cannot harm me. It is now a center. I smite you back to the abyss.
Commendable marksmanship, honored brother.
Ultramarines, praise the Emperor!
Unknown box communicator. Identify yourself.
This is Archdeacon Zonir. I am hidden inside the cathedral. Heretics stormed this sanctum and slaughtered my garrison of Cadians for their dark rituals. The Cadian troops left behind heavy explosives. Alas, they never got to use them against the archenemy.
Viridian, gather the explosive charges and place them.
Traitors draw near. I will destroy any heretic.
Alright, well, let's grab these. So a convenient little thing is that you can kind of just go invisible,
Country's weakest.
plant and dip. Let's get to the game for your YouTube channel, which has led me into watching hours and hours of lore videos. The only thing I don't understand is when you use blocker and chain swords and not proc like pairing with the gun strike. I have a whole guide on defense types that'll answer everything you just asked me. Significantly better than I can this exact second. The TLDR is block weapons don't give you gun strikes. Instead, they give you block charges, and upon 2 block charges, your next attack will get bonus damage for 2.2 seconds and stagger enemies for 2.2 seconds in every melee hit.
Charge acquired.
There's more to it than that. That's just a TLDR. It's also in the new player guide I have. So. The orange glow thing is like the, that's a different thing.
Cast this desecrated
That's a different thing. That's also explained in the new player guide.
Bury these heretics, so they never
That's like a
cease to
50%
light
damage
again.
debuff every time you get a perfect lock on an enemy for like 2 seconds.
Egress point before the cathedral falls.
Where it improves all the damage they take. Well, it gives them a damage taken debuff where they take 50% more damage for everything, pretty much. For your teammates.
Grateful for your offer, Ancient One. But my place is here. I will speak prayers of consecration over the cathedral's final moments.
The Archdeacon has chosen.
Contain the heretics since the detonation for 20 seconds. Yeah, that'll be hard to do.
The heretics are everywhere.
Hey, we did it. Easy victory. And that is the weekly.